and I'm communicating, I still didn't want to talk about it. Still didn't want to talk because it was still playing like a movie. Even at 12, I would just shut down. I would just shut down. I would go back to being silent again. And my grandpa would turn on the basketball game. And he could see, he'd turn on a basketball football game and see how excited I would get. So my grandpa even had a plan. You know, my grandpa had a plan. Listen, if this is what can get him out this shell, this is what can get him to heal him, this is what we're going to do. And he went to God with it. He went to God with it.
Right.
And so with that, I opened up. I started making friends. I started, you know what I mean, communicating with teachers better. I started just communicating with myself better. Now I'm getting to know me.
Right.
Now I'm getting to know who I am. Still dealing with the loss of my mother, but I'm still getting to know me. You know, and even though I think me getting older, as I got older, I started to realize what happened to my mother. So then that's when I started to become angry with God. Because even my grandparents didn't want to talk about it because my grandmother was in shock. But they didn't want to talk about it with me. So with them not really wanting to talk about it with me, I started to, as I got older, I started blaming God. I started blaming him. Why'd you take my mother away? Why'd you, why this? Why that? There was always a why. Or you shouldn't have done this, or you shouldn't have did that.
Right.
And God it was just setting up a plan for everything. Because I always felt like anybody important that truly, truly loved me unconditionally, God had taken away from me. It started with my mother. And then my grandfather the person that another that I love the most in the world, he got sick. We had there was a family issue where some of my aunties, and listen, if you ever watch my videos, you know that I'm very transparent about my life. I don't have any secrets because God, by the grace of God, I'm here. So I'm very transparent.
Right.
So some of my aunties, his daughters teamed up and came up with a lie and said that he was molesting my sister. They came up with a lie and said that he was molesting my sister. Now we're talking about my grandfather who was, listen, when we talk about grandfathers, old school grandfathers who love their grandchildren, who will go to work for 75 cents if it means taking care of his family. This is the kind of grandfather I had. Fought in the war and everything. Would do anything for his daughters, would do anything for his sons. That's just the grandfather that he was. So they made up a story and said that my grandfather was molesting my sister. It broke my grandfather down so bad. I sat there for 4 years and watched my grandfather drink himself to death. He drank himself to death. One morning, my grandma woke up. My grandfather didn't.
Jesus.
And that was the reason. And I can honestly tell you that was the reason why he did. He did because he was so devastated that anybody could come up with something like that to say about him. When they came to me with it, I said, that's absolutely false. It's not true. It is not true. But my sister was so young, she didn't understand it. So she went along with the story. Oh, yes, my grandfather did touch me and all of this. So you can now you can imagine my relationship with my sister was after that. To look at her and be like, I cannot believe this is something that you would say about our grandfather. He could have let us be in a foster home, but he didn't. Not once did I ever see I was with my grandfather 95% of the time. I never seen my grandfather touch any of the grandkids in any kind of way. He's a loving grandfather. Would do anything for his grandkids, but the daughters came up with this story for some money. For some money that they didn't even use to take care of my sister. That they didn't even use to take care of my sister. So I watched my grandfather drink himself to death.
So this is major loss number 2.
That's major loss number 2.
So you had your connection with your mom.
Yes.
That was a blow. Then it took a while, but you bonded with your grandfather.
Absolutely.
Then he was taken away. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, all I can say is I'm looking at a miracle. I'm looking at you, and now listening to your messages and your lives and how you are a source of encouragement for your sisters and brothers, not just your blood sisters and brothers, but the body of Christ. How you can be such a beacon of hope, trust, belief, love, support, when it seems like all of those things kept being ripped from you as a young man.
Absolutely.
But you stand solid on them and on the promises of the Lord. So let's move on. And I'm not trying to downplay any of this.
Not at all.
I'm telling you right now that you will be getting a second invitation so that we can delve deep into these.
Yes.
But I'm trying to get us to that's number 2. Take us to the next step.
Okay, so the next step is, I go through that. I go through, high school, and, I'm one of the best athletes in the state of California, but I'm still missing something. I'm still missing something. Something is off. Something is off. So, my senior year, I'm getting ready for my for my senior year, last game at home. The newspaper and everything is there and all of that. Remind you now, not many people know about what happened as a child. Nobody knows. I didn't really talk about it. I didn't really bring it up. Immediate family knows. That's pretty much about it. So I get to school that Friday, and I walk into school and everybody's staring at me. And I'm like, what's going on? Why everybody looking at me crazy? Like, it's Friday, senior night. I'm finna do my thing tonight. What's going on? Everybody comes up there hugging. Everybody come up there hugging me. I'm like, what's going on? And one of my I can remember who one of my guys, Rick Fox, came up to me and said, "Hey, bro, you see the paper?" I said, "What you mean?" There's a big old article in the paper about me. Gives the rundown on everything that happened to my mother. Everything.
Are you kidding me?
Everything. Somebody in the family talked to the newspaper and told them everything. Didn't come to me, didn't come to my grandma, none of that. They didn't do any of that. They just went on about their business and gave the whole story. So now I'm having to pretty much, the coaches actually took me out of school. Like, listen, we don't know what's going on. We don't know. You don't even have to play tonight if you don't want to. You don't have to play tonight. I said, you know what? Yes, I do. I have to play tonight. I have to. And now the cat is out. Now it's out. Played that night, had a wonderful game. But I'm angry. I'm mad.
Of course. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm following. So you are in high school or college right now?
High school.
So
my senior year of high school.
Something that happened to you 9 years previous, someone in your family decided when you had finally moved on, when you had finally started to be comfortable in who you are, who you were going to become, making friends, having the family in your sports team, decided to dredge up on a time that should be a happy time for you.
Yes.
When you haven't had many happy times.
Yes.
And they decide to. So now you're reliving something. The pain that you probably hadn't even gotten through at 9, here you are at 17 or 18 dealing with it again.
Absolutely. And I was so angry that I was so angry. Like, it followed me I ended up going to college in Kansas first, and it followed me that incident followed me all the way there. Like I had so much of an anger problem. Like the coaches couldn't control me. Like it was like I would snap so quick. I wouldn't do no news interviews. I wouldn't do anything. I want to stay away from people. Just let me come here, get my education, play ball. That's it. I literally had to see anger management in order to play. I had to sign a contract with them because they were about to kick me out of school because I was just so angry. I was so angry. I wasn't violent. I was just angry. I would listen to them. Listen, I'm not here for you. I'm here for me. I'm only worried about me. I'm not worried about no teammates. I'm not worried about no coaches. No nothing. Well, hey, Mr. Young, if you can't get on the same page we on, then we're gonna send you home.
Well, you know, anger, without them living that situation and being in the situation or knowing what you've been dealing with for 9 to 10 years at this point, can always be misconstrued as something else.
Absolutely.
You're another angry Black young man, not realizing what the root cause is of it. You just be scooped into the rest. Oh, he's just a regular, just angry young man. He's not good. He's not, you know, and
and what's
crazy,
you know, and what they did,
and didn't you say the story followed you there though? They didn't know the background of where this anger might have been.
They didn't know the background until they was ready to kick me out of school, and they called my high school coach like, this is not the kid that everybody talks about. This is not the guy that everybody talks about. So we about to send him home. And my high school coach, Mr. Cardoza, actually told them exactly what happened. This is why he is the way he is. And then they called me in the office. They crying. You know, I'm like, what's wrong? We didn't know. I'm like, why didn't you tell us about it? Why didn't you talk about it? I'm like, that's not nothing that you just tell anybody. Like, I don't want to keep reliving that. I don't want to keep, I don't want to keep talking about it. Let's just be done with it. But I'll accept the help. I'll go to anger management classes if it means me staying in school. I'll go. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Like Minister Pilson said, the devil always brings up your past. That's right, because
absolutely,
especially when he sees you on the track that God has ordered your steps. We can agree on that. You know you are walking in ordered steps. So when the devil sees that the plot that he has and his plan is off track because you're right on the path that the Lord has chiseled out for you, he's always going to try to throw anything back at you to try to throw you off of that destined path. And I give all glory and praise to God that you are still on the path I know this isn't even half of it, and I've already heard 4 things that would have made me go hide under the ground in the dirt somewhere.
Yeah. So,
all right, I'm done. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So that's all right. So, they talked to the coaches. They allowed me to stay, went to anger management classes, got my, ended up breaking my wrist that summer, my freshman year summer, broke my wrist. I didn't want to stay another year. I didn't want to redshirt or anything. So I said, I didn't even tell the team doctor or the coaches that my wrist was messed up. So I was playing in pain. So what happened was I played my whole second year with a broken wrist. So by me playing with a broken wrist, my bones grafted together. So I couldn't move my wrist. I couldn't move it at all. So I'm still playing because I just wanted to just get away. They knew what was going on with me. I said, hey, I cannot redshirt and be here for 3 years instead of 2. So I need to get away. So I played the whole second year with a broken wrist, got a full ride scholarship to the University of Nebraska with a broken wrist. I get to Nebraska, the doctors do the physical. They say, listen, you may never play ball again. I'm like, what you mean I may never play ball again? They say your wrists, your bones have grafted together. We know you can't move your hand. We know we've seen you out here playing, and we don't even know how you're playing, but you're playing. They said, so we're going to send you to the Mayo Clinic, which is in Minnesota. It's a sports athletic where all the pro athletes go and get their surgeries done. So they did the surgery. The doctor said, you're probably never going to play again. I said, well,
that's not say, doctor.
I said, doctor, I'm not listening to what you talk about right now. I said, how long is it going to take me to heal? That's all I need to know. They said,
Right.
you're not understanding what we're saying. You're going to have to start all over like a baby. Your mind is going to tell you that you can do it, but your wrist ain't going to. We had to take bones out of your hip, steel pins, and all of that. So they got the surgery. They put a cast from here to here. I was wonderful. I was happy. So I'm in the gym one day and I'm shooting around with the cast on my hand. So the doctor comes through and says, Mr. Young, you already sitting out 1 year. What are you doing messing around? I said, well, the doctor said I ain't never going to play again, so I can't get hurt no more than what I am right now, which in my head, I'm knowing I'm going to play again. So
right.
the doctor calls me in. They say, come see us. We're going to take the cast off. I'm saying, hey, I'm healed. I'm going to play. They put a cast from here to here, so I couldn't shoot the ball. Let me tell you how God works, though. Let me tell you how God works.
All right.
They put a cast from here to here. Prior to that happening, I never used my left hand at all. Not to shoot, not to dribble, not to do a layup at all. Mm-hmm. I had to use my left hand for a whole year. So shooting, writing, dribbling, everything. The doctor's still telling me I'm never going to play again. They finally take the cast off. I get healthy, and I'm actually playing. Again. Like, I'm actually one of the best players on the team, playing on ESPN, all of this stuff. One of the best players. And they looked at me and was like, he told us he was going to play. And everybody was saying, God did it, God did it, God did it. I'm still at this point where I'm still angry and I'm still mad. No, I did it.
Right.
I ain't got nothing to do with this. I did the rehab. The doctors didn't know what they was talking about. It's me. It's me. And
right.
I end up skipping my senior year to go play pro ball. I was hurt. Most coaches knew that I was hurt. So the NBA really wasn't trying to kind of deal with the injury and stuff like that. So I said, you know what? I'll just go overseas and play. I'll go do that. I played in the USBL, the CBA. I just bounced around from league to league because this was my dream. This is what I want to do. You know, this is, I feel like this is the blessing. This is what I've worked on. Understanding that I'm saying it's a blessing, but at the same time, I'm mad at God. See, I had 1 foot in and 1 foot out. When everything is going good, it's me. When everything going bad, I was blaming it on God.
It's God.
God, you the reason why I didn't make it. You the reason why this is going on. That. You know, so after all of that, I'm playing ball, but I'm hanging out with the wrong people. I'm hanging out with, you know, drug dealers that I grew up with. We hanging out, we partying all the time. We just, you know, I'm being, how can I say it? I was a boy, so I'm doing boyish things. I have no faith. My faith was in me, wasn't in God. My faith was in me, it wasn't in God. So I'm making some money. I'm helping some people out. I'm bringing people into my home. Not knowing that people are jealous. Not knowing that people are looking to hurt me because of who I am and what I have. You know, I'm buying jewelry. I'm buying so much stuff. I was too loud. Just to be honest, I'm too loud, too much attention. And this is somebody who, I don't even like that attention like that. I don't even like being around, you know, I don't like the glitz and glamour and all that, but I'm trying to be somebody I'm not.
Right.
So I'm at home one night Actually, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm at home one night and I'm just laying in the bed, and my friend Nick called me and said, "Hey, you want to come to the club tonight?" And in my head, I'm like, "Nah, I really don't feel like going out tonight, man. I'm not gonna go." But I'm a certain type of person, so I gotta be there. I gotta show my face. So, I'm in my head. I'm the man, so I gotta show my face, even if it's for 10 minutes. Everywhere I went, it was like, Danai's here. Or they used to call me Ice. They used to call me Ice back then. This is what they called me because I wore so much jewelry all the time. Or Ice coming to the club. Ice coming to the club tonight. He this, he that. He in the spotlight all the time. I just sit in the back because I didn't like the attention. But I didn't even want to go to the club that night. So I go to the club, and I always carried a gun just in case. Just in case something was going to happen, I'm carrying a gun with me. So this was the only night I forgot my gun at home. I forgot my gun at home, put my jewelry on, went to the club. Left the club, came home. This is the first time I've ever done this in my life. Because I've known so many people that got jacked or got killed over stuff. I always backed myself into my garage. I opened my garage and I backed myself in so I could see anything that's coming in front of me.
At you.
I can see anything that's coming at me. So if somebody is going to do something, I can just drive right off, run them over or whatever. I didn't do that this time. I drove straight in the garage. Soon as I closed the door, 3 guys ran in my garage. All guns on me. One to my head, one to my chest. First thing they said was, "Give it up, Ice." This is the first thing they said. I said, "You have to be kidding me. Y'all know me. Y'all know me." I said, "Listen, man, you can have whatever you want to. It's not worth it. I'm not ready to die for anything that I have on me or with me. You can have it all." The first thing they asked was, "Where's the safe at?" When they say this now I know it's somebody who's been in my house. It's somebody who's been in my house. There's somebody who's been in my house, somebody who knows me. They got the gun on me, walk me in the house. One guy hits me in the face with the gun. So now they taking me down. 2 of them are searching for the safe. What they didn't know is I moved the safe every other day to another friend's house. I actually moved it that day to his house. So one guy takes me downstairs. The other 2 are upstairs and rambling. I can hear him rambling, going through stuff. The guy downstairs has a 12-gauge shotgun. He's reaching in my jewelry box, taking my jewelry out, putting it in the bag. But the first thing he did when he first took me down there, now, I have a big old cut on my face. He opens a sliding door. When he first comes in. He got the gun on me. So I'm standing next to the sliding door. And I'm saying, you know what? If he's gonna kill me, he's gonna kill me. But I gotta figure something out. In my head, that's what I'm thinking. I gotta figure something out. So he reaches in the jewelry box and he kind of fumbles a little bit. And I hit him. And as I hit him, he falls down and I run out the sliding door. Now, there's only one way out. The one he left. There's only one way out. So the sliding door, I got to run around and there's a fence, but the front door is here. So I'm hoping that maybe I can make it to the front, out the front gate before they come out the front door. We actually meet almost at the same time as them coming out the front door and me coming out the gate. And they just start firing. I get hit 5 times. Five times. In the midst of he getting hit 5 times, I'm still running. My adrenaline is so high, I'm still running. They chased me for about a block. And I make it to a friend's house, and I'm just banging on the door. I didn't even notice I was shot until I made it to his house. My blood, I started sweating and all that kind of stuff. So my friend take me to the hospital. I had already lost so much blood. I woke up in the hospital. I had lost so much blood. My heart had stopped 2 to 3 times, the doctor said. And I'm just laying there. I'm just laying there. Yep.
In all of this, because you have riveted us with so many times where the devil has tried to take you out. I mean, he has really tried to kill you. With all the stuff that you're doing now, how many times do you see, because I can sit here and tell you what I believe or what I think, but this is your story, this is your life, this is what God has done for you. How many times now with what you do on a daily basis do you understand why the Lord allowed you to suffer through all of these things? What is it about your life now that you're doing that those specific situations have imprinted on you to be able to help you with situations or deal with people that God might be sending to you? Because there are people that my testimony would allow me to help, but there are certain people that only something that you have been through, only some of the things that God has delivered you from and saved you from makes you innately capable of reaching people that I can't reach with my testimony and my experiences. So my question is, do you see that and recognize that? Are there times when certain people will come across your path and you'll be like, okay, Lord, now I understand some of this stuff. God, now I understand where it didn't just happen for no reason. It happened for such a time as this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I give all praise to God for what I've gone through. What I've gone through. I've grown so much just as a man. Just as a man, like just a year ago. Just a year ago, I truly just gave my life to God. Like baptized and everything. I didn't become a man until I gave my life to God. Let me just be honest. I didn't become a man. I didn't become a man. I was a grown boy. Exactly who I was. I was living in my flesh. I thought it was all about me. I was praising God only when it benefited me. I was praising God when it sounded good. You know? But even in my struggles today, God has been good. So when I tell people my story, trust God. Trust God. Trust God. Yes. I was homeless even after all of that. I was homeless for 2 years, sleeping in the back of my car. I still trusted God. I got into a car accident. Glass shattered in my eyes. I was blind for 2 months. God.
Jesus.
I trust God. I trust God. No matter what I've gone through in my life, I know that God is with me. I understand why, and the hardest thing I ever had to come to grips with is that what happened to my mother was her fault. Was her fault. The lifestyle that she was living caused what happened to her. That was the hardest thing I had to come to grips with. Because I was blaming God. I was blaming God, but the lifestyle that my mother was living, that's what comes with it. The lifestyle that I was living came with people coming at me and trying to kill me over something that I would have gave them. They would have asked me, because that's how big my heart is. Yeah. Sometimes we don't want to blame ourselves for our actions. We want to blame everybody else but ourselves. You
have to be accountable for yourself. God gave us free will.
Yes.
And that's why the choice is ours. The consequence of that choice is also ours.
Absolutely. But I can tell him, God kept me. God covered me. God told me that, listen, even though you've been shot 5 times, it's not your time to go. I've helped. Listen, we've gotten this far together. We got some more things. We got some more things to do. You're going to go through some more stuff.
Yes.
You're going to go through some more stuff. I'm going to put you through something else. About 9 years ago, I was at a place where I was depressed. I was at a place where I felt like did nobody love me. I had all the money. I was able to buy anything I wanted, but I wasn't happy. I felt like people were just loving me because of who I was and what I had. I wasn't happy. I drove to a lake, and I loaded the gun myself, and I put it to my head, and I pulled the trigger, and the gun didn't go off.
Let me ask you a question. See, if God has let you know from such an early age that he has his almighty and all-powerful hand on you, if God has prevented someone else from taking your life, what made you think he was going to allow you to do it yourself?
You sure right. You sure right. And that you say that, I pulled the trigger, the gun didn't go off. I immediately started to cry, and I looked up and I said, God, I know, my bad. Exact words. God, I know, my bad. Took the gun, threw it in the water. But
Lord, I thank you for protecting me from stupid things.
Absolutely.
From the things I think I want, but no, I don't want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and I tell people this all the time. Without God, I'm no one.
Right.
Without God, I'm lost. I no longer order my steps. It's no longer all about me. It's all about God. Right. The man that I've become is because of God, not because of myself, not because of
That's right.
Not because of money, not because of women. Listen, when I say God is the greatest thing that ever happened to me, he's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. If I never would have gave my life to God a year ago, I would still be a grown boy. I would still be a grown boy. I would still be out here making boy decisions. And the crazy thing about and my grandmother told me this years ago. Your voice is your gift. Your voice is your gift. God has given you a voice. God has given you a testimony. God has given you a plan. But while you waiting on God, God is waiting on you. God is waiting on you. So many of us aren't waiting on God, and we just sit there.
But you know what the thing? That is so true. We are so quick as a people, the people of God, to say, oh, I'm just waiting on God. Okay, but you know, waiting on God, God requires something from us to prompt him to action. So you're waiting on God, but God is like, I already told you what you have to do. Everything you need is in your praise. Everything you need is in your tongue. You speak, you give God the glory. You ask me. If you're not asking with a sincere heart, you can keep going, oh God, take the cigarette smoke urge from me. Oh God, take the liquor urge away from me. But if you're not sincerely asking that from your heart, I can say, oh God, take the urge